everyone, it's me again. I'm Lena and I'm from the Healthcare Landscape Group. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my main video with the topic Introduction to the Immune System, where I will be talking about what is the immune system, just some introduction to it, and also some fun facts about it. And I will be talking about four main parts. The first part is what are the parts in the immune system. The second part is the types of immunity. The third part is the lines of defenses. And the fourth part are the responses that we have when we have viruses entering our body. Let's start first with the first one, the parts of the immune system. Well, before that, let's talk about what is the immune system. Well, the immune system is a complicated and complex system right after our brain and our nervous system, and it helps us to gain an immunity against pathogens, which are basically viruses, foreign objects, bacteria, and worms, microscopic worms. And that is the main function of our immune system. But in this video, I'm going to talk about some deeper, more complicated concepts of the immune system. And the parts of it include the lymphatic system, which is a system that helps the immune system, which I will talk later in a different video because this topic is very complex, like I said before, and we will learn it for a very long time. The second one is the skin. The skin is our first line of defense. I will talk about that later in this part. But it's our first line of defense because without the skin, the viruses will attach on our body and attack our body at any time. White blood cells, antibodies, those are some of the cells that help in the immune system. Without those cells, our immune system wouldn't be the same. We also have the spleen, the thymus, and the bone marrow, where the bone marrow will produce the white and red blood cells. That is some of the parts of the immune system, just to name a few. The second part is the types of immunity. There are two main types of immunity, innate immunity and acquired or adaptive immunity. What is innate immunity? Well, innate immunity, all kinds of mammals have this, and all kinds of animals have innate immunity. We're born with it. For humans, we're born with it, and it's our first natural line of defense. Our skin, for example. They attack pathogens, which I said before is worms, parasitic worms, bacteria, viruses, or foreign objects. Those are the pathogens, and they don't keep records on viruses. They don't keep records on viruses in contrast of the acquired immune system, immunity. Well, the acquired or adaptive immunity is just what it sounds like. Its name suggests that it is adaptive. It's very flexible based on its environment. Well, it keeps files of the pathogens that enter its body. Now, adaptive immunity is not always in any types of animals, unlike the innate immunity. Well, for the acquired or adaptive immunity, only highly advanced animals, creatures, species like us or apes have adaptive immunity. And they keep files of pathogens so they know what to do next time when those same pathogens keep getting and attacking that. Then it take over if the innate immunity line of defense failed. And it's the second line of defense. It recognizes, specify, and then memorize. That is the process of acquired or adaptive immunity. There are two types, remember. Then we have the lines of defenses. The lines of defenses, there are three main lines. The non-specific type, the inflammatory response, and the specific type. The first one is the non-specific, which is the skin. It's our first line of defense, and it's our skin. There are also mucous membranes, which is our skin and our mucous membranes are, think of a moat or a castle walls, the castle walls. Those are the non-specific part. and they don't care what it blocks or attacks. It don't care what it blocks, it just blocks everything that tries to enter our skin. Then we have the inflammatory response, which is also non-specific because it don't specify on what it enters or it attacks. It includes macrophages, which is a type of bacteria that attacks our body. It also releases histamine, which causes blood vessels to dilate or widen at the site of the injury. Then we have the specific kinds, which includes the B and T cells. Well, the B cells make antibodies which aid in helping fight against pathogens. It also have T cells, which is lymphocytes, and lymphocytes help to regulate the immune response. And it have a more targeted response, meaning that it detects the antigens on the bacteria. So there's a type of an alert that when the antigen on the bacteria comes in, it will alert the whole body and then send a group of soldiers to that site to fight it. Then we also have the barriers. There's the physical barriers and the chemical barriers. The physical barriers include the skin, the respiratory system, the gastrointestinal tract, and the urinary system. That is the physical barriers. Now, the specific kinds, it detects the antigens on the bacteria and eliminate them based on the location that the pathogens are in. For the chemicals part, we have lysozyme, which is in our sweat and our tears. If you ever seen there's a clear barrier in our eyes, and it helps to protect against it too. But sweat and tears also have a kind of acidic chemicals to it, so it helps to eliminate some of that too. We also have lactic acid, which is in our reproductive or in our special area, we will say that. That is all the lines of defenses. For the last part, we have the responses, which includes the internal responses and the physical responses. Now, for the internal responses, we have 3 responses, which is all of the lines of defensives that we have. And then we also have the B cells and the T cells. The B cells produce antibodies. The T cells recognize and destroys virus-infected cells. For our physical responses, we have sneezing, coughing, a runny nose, and getting sick. The most common is getting sick because that's when they enter through our line of defenses and enter our body, and therefore our body gets sick. But sometimes our body is very resilient. Our body is on 24/7 duty, and it helps our body to fight back against anything. That is all for that part. And for the fun facts part, we have that. Did you know that our immune system remembers every microbe or pathogen it has ever fought and defeated? This is because we have adaptive immunity. Well, if we go back to the second part, which is acquired or adaptive immunity, it will recognize and keep files of every single pathogen that it fights or defeated. That is for that part. We also have the immune system doesn't have one centralized location in the body, like the brain or the lungs or the respiratory system, or also the digestive system, which is in this area. Our brain is in this area, but our immune system is spread throughout our whole body. It doesn't have one centralized point. So that is our fun facts part. Now I want to give you some pictures on here. As you can see, we have our defenses, which include the adaptive and the innate defenses. We have the non-specific, which includes some of these macrophages, which help us to eat whole of the pathogens. Yes, they eat the pathogens as their food. The macrophages eat the pathogens. That is for our defenses. For our innate one, we have our eyes, our tears, our respiratory tract, mucus lining in our nose and our lungs, and our skin, which have the physical barrier and the sweat, like I've also said before. Here is the process of the macrophages eating the pathogens. And here we have, this is the virus, the food particle. It will eat this and then it will distribute the energy throughout the body. And we also have your personal immune army. There is our B and T cells, the helper T cells, the killer T cells, the macrophages, like I said before, and many other things. Now think of this as the cavalry, for example, our soldiers, our backup plan. And for our first line of defense, it is our castle barriers, for example. And yeah, those are all of the parts that I have. Well, there's only one code left that I have to say. The immune system is the most complex biological system known to humanity other than the human brain. This code is coded by Philip Detmer, and that is definitely true because the immune system is an incredible system that we have. Without it, we might not even live today. Think about how many illnesses or sickness that you've gotten throughout the years, how your body was able to be resilient, stay resilient, and then keep fighting back. And our body is just incredible. And that also wraps up the end of my main video. If you have any other questions or comments you want to add to my video or give some feedback on my video, then I'll be glad to hear it. Don't hesitate to say all of it, and also keep thriving and learning each and every single day. I hope that you learned something from this video, and see you next meeting or next video. See you soon!